Hey, Eli here. Today it is January 2024, and I want to go over my most used gear of 2023. I'm dressed like I'm going to a wedding. This is pretty much how I show up, and yeah, covered in gear generally. So I want to go over all the gear that I used last year. I delivered 130 different galleries through PicTime. I culled 600 plus thousand through Narrative Select, and I delivered 66,000 images to clients. It was a wild year. It was good. I've had busier years, but I just can't handle that much anymore. Just too much. In 2021 was the wildest year probably for everybody. Yeah, so I had to back it off. Thankful for the marketing from the last 8 years. A little history on me: as I moved to Oregon in 2015, I opened a little wedding bar as a backup plan, but I got into SEO. And in the transition, I was able to increase my business here in Oregon to where I didn't need the bar anymore. And yeah, been shooting since 2007. So really, my company has shined since 2015 as far as self, individual, and growth. Yeah. So I live in Bend, Oregon. I photograph all over the world. Mainly photograph in Oregon and Washington, a little bit of California. But again, I've been to Turkey, Germany, Ireland, St. Lucia, Florida, all over the states. So yeah, this year I photographed weddings, elopements, engagements, proposals, couples, families, lots of families, seniors, birthday parties, for like 50th and 70, so more like family get-togethers, and then anniversary parties as well, same thing, pretty much very similar. Some bands, headshots. I did headshots at Google with a friend, which was pretty incredible, down in LA, in Venice. And then I do a lot of headshots in my studio, as well as like lifestyle headshots for clients that need like realtors or bankers or just really anyone who needs to showcase themselves for their company. And then, yeah, magazine work. I did a lot of that this year, about 2 shoots a month, whether it was like tattoo artists or food or restaurants or authors, and then a lot of lifestyle in that. And yeah, so that's kind of the work that I've created this year. This is the gear that I use to do it. So I'm going to start off with cameras. I used 2 R5s and an R6 II, and then a GFX 100S and GFX 100 II. I meant to use, I sought out to use 2 R6s, but they were on back order when I went to buy one for a couple months. And I found an upgrade program through Canon that if you register an old camera through a serial number, through your account, through Canon, you can upgrade your new camera, because this one doesn't work anymore, with a 10 or 20% discount. So I was able to get an R6, or sorry, an R5 for like $2,700, which is wild. So look into that if that's something that you can go to the thrift store and buy one of these and then register the serial number and get 10 or 20% off your next camera. I'm not sure all the nuances of that and which cameras it works with and discounts, but I was able to get 20% off when I called them over the phone. And yeah, so register your camera online, then call them, and then go through that process. Pretty good deal. So yeah, so those are the cameras that I used. R5 was my number one used camera. Incredible camera. R6 is incredible as well, but I like to use 2 of the same camera at a wedding or any shoot, so the editing is fast. And so I used 2 R5s for the most part. My R6 II pretty much went to my second shooter. He's a Nikon guy, and so I was like, hey, it's just easier for me if you use this, and he's awesome. He uses the 24 to 70, and then he'll use the 85 Samyang a little bit as well with that. But I've got a review on the R6 II, and I don't know if I have a review on the R5, but it's an incredible camera. The only thing about the R5 is on-off switch. That's it. Other than that, this camera's perfect. It could always use upgrades, like everything. We're always wanting something better, but it does the job. Autofocus is incredible. Great camera. Onto lenses. The most used lens would be the 28 to 70 f2. I switched to Canon from Sony back in 2020 because of this lens. It's incredible. Like, I could shoot everything with this. This is really all that I need, and a backup body. But I do like to have redundancy, and I'm a gear nerd, so I always want to try new gear. So that's why I have all this gear. It's probably a little overwhelming. You don't need all this gear to shoot a wedding, but it's nice to have, but not necessary. You really need 2 bodies and 2 lenses, probably. Maybe a little redundancy in case you drop one, but I have not dropped a lens and broke it at a wedding. So I have dropped stuff, but if you buy quality, it's pretty tough. So yeah, 28 to 70 would be my number one used lens. Number 2 would be, I'm just going to go through what I think just offhand, it would be the 80 mil on the Fuji system. Fuji files are insane. Medium format's amazing. Autofocus is slower, but it's totally worth it for me to slow down, take time, take those portraits, and just gorgeous. It's so beautiful. I'm going to roll at the end of this video just a slideshow of all the images that I created in the last couple of years with this kit. And, you know, it's going to vary. R6 is going to be in there as well as the GFX 100S. I now have the GFX 100 II, which I love. And my number 2 lens for the GFX 100 II is the 35mm version 2 from Canon with the Fringer or finger adapter. Really fun kit. Vignettes a little on the corners, but I just drop it down to 4x6 anyway because I don't shoot this lens vertical. It's always horizontal, sometimes 16x9. But it's just incredible. I've even made panoramics with it, 3-image panos. Turned out great. So yeah, my number 1 portrait setup are these two right here. I also have the 105mm from Sigma. It's the EF mount, and this is incredible for portraits. I mean, this thing is just beautiful, but it is heavy. It's a big kit. You know, that 95mm diameter, or is it 105mm? Yeah, 105 is just, it's wide. So it's a beast. And I barely will use for commercial work. I'm probably going to use this week for a billboard shoot for a brand locally. The 45mm f2. I just know that it's going to be sharp. It's going to do what it needs to do. No distortion. Really good lens just for, it's fun, you know. People ask me if I've used the Pancake Canon 2.8 on this, but I haven't, probably because it'd be about the same almost with the adapter as the 45. And yeah, I think it's great. Great little lens. Yeah, so Fuji, I'm in love with it. It's amazing. I've played a lot with the X-T5 this year too. Yeah, so next up would be the 50mm 1.2. Incredible lens, 1.2, just beautiful. Thing's super sharp. I love the flares that I got out of this, really creative. And I've messed around a little bit this year with the Moment Cinebloom 10%. Right at the end of the year, I got this guy, and so anything at night, I did some wedding stuff with it and some band shoots with this with some fog, and really fun filter. The 77mm 10%. So yeah, love this lens. Always recommend a 50, 1.2 if you can get it, 1.4, 1.8, whatever. Just a beautiful, beautiful lens. The 14mm Rokinon, the EF mount. I don't know, I've seen some of these on Craigslist for $400, which I think is a pretty good deal. This thing's awesome. For travel, I will always take a 24-70 and this, and that's it. That's all I need. Don't really need this, but it's fun to have. You know, I was in Positano, and just to get that landscape, you need that little extra wide when you're on the beach there because everything's so tight. But yeah, I'll use this to document ceremonies and then like reception halls or just anything that's like wide. I don't want to get the full scene. I don't really do a lot of portraits with this unless I'm in the mountains, which, you know, is pretty great. And I pretty much just keep it at 2.8, and it's awesome. You know, I'm only putting my subjects in the center, so it's just really dramatic and really beautiful. Let's see, the next one would be 7200 headshots and ceremonies. You know, a little bit of toast if it's daylight. If I'm indoors, I'm going to use the 85 from Samyang RF mount, and this is awesome. This is usually my second shooter's like documentation lens for receptions, and so that's all he needs. You can just shoot 85, 1.2, and then have the 24-70 if needed, but this is also a great lens. That is all the gear that I used last year. At the end of the year, I picked up the 100-400 EF mount version 2. Really cool, super fun. Limiting on the aperture, but I made it work, and I might use this for ceremonies this year, but I got it for the GFX system just to get creative shots and do headshots in studio, and it's pretty cool. Really fun. I'm really impressed with it. I pulled out the baffle in the back to get rid of some vignetting. It helped a little bit. You get to look at the electronics, so make you nervous, but it's usually got an adapter on it, so it's a little more separated and protected. I do keep the cap on that one just for that reason. Generally, I don't keep caps on my lenses on front or back. I pretty much use B&W, a B+W 010 multi-coated nano on all my lenses, and I just, good enough for me. It's just quick. I don't have to deal with caps. Protects them. I've broken a few of these. Save my lens, you know, and I don't think that it has affected my images at all, to be honest. It's so close. They're good filters. They're not super expensive. They're not super cheap. I think they're right in that budget range, in my opinion. But I buy them for everything. All my lenses get it, unless, you know, I buy a lens that's super cheap or I can't put one on it. Cool. So that is all of my camera gear except for the Mavic 3. Barely used it, but I did use it to document like some venues and things like that. My second shooter flies it for the most part, and it's fun. And it does help get that little edge. I don't think you need the Mavic 3 for it. I'm sure that like just a Mini would do it, just to get that little extra, view of showing off a venue. And you just got to be careful where you fly it and make sure you can fly it. So yeah, Mavic 3, I used just a little bit, not a ton. Cool. So next I want to go over, let's see, we'll go over camera bags and straps. My favorite purchase from whenever they released these was Clever Supply Co.'s camera straps, dual harness, I forget what it's called. If you go to their website, it's easy to find. These things are incredible. They use the Peak Design system, which I love. I was always using a different brand that had metal on it, and I had to like clip them in and make all these funky clips to come on and off. I'm on and off with these things all day long, but they're strong. I have no issues with them holding the weight of the GFX or 28 to 70, no problem. I did modify this one a little bit with a Urban Carver's, it's like a keychain magnet, really high pull on it. I think it's like 8 or 10 pounds. And I put this on my belt, so when I'm running around all day on the right side, I can, it's not dangling, or if I lean over to grab something, it doesn't fly all the way out. It's been kind of a cool little system that I've been testing out. But yeah, it's been working for me. But yeah, I love these things. I put the Peak Design sternum strap on there as well. Hopefully it doesn't look like lederhosen, which I've worn to weddings. But yeah, I think it's been really helpful to just kind of keep it together, because I've noticed if I just have one on, they kind of like sway around, and that's with any dual harness system. But I love these. I also keep these in my bag. If I show up to a shoot without this thing, I feel like I'm naked. It's weird. Like I am so used to them. I feel like something's missing. But I'll keep these. I think they're called the Leash. I've got a couple of these. I'll keep these around, and these are awesome. They're super functional. They're super slick. They slide around, and then they just keep your camera from falling on the ground, which is what we want. Protect them. All right, next up would be bags. I've been using Tenba bags for years. No affiliation at all. One more thing. These shirts. If you don't know about these shirts and you're a guy, Mizzen and Main, Mizzen plus Main it's called. I love these things. They're stretchy. I've got a bunch of them. And yeah, I generally wear a short sleeve shirt to weddings because it's usually pretty warm, and I'm just a lot faster, more functional. But yeah, I love these shirts. Tenba bags. I'm on Tenba bag number 4. Previously, the Tenba bags would have a little metal D-ring here, and I'd wear them out. I'd have them that long. And so I had one break once, hit the ground, broke a 7200, and so I was like, all right, I'll never let that happen again. So I kept buying new bags whenever I felt like that ring was wearing out, and so, or when I wanted to test a new bag. But the reason I love Tenba is because they've got these pockets, and the Tenba DNA, this is the Pro DNA 16, I think it's called. And they've always put these side pockets in, so it allows me to have, there's 2 side pockets, one on each side, and I can literally put a 28 to 70 in there with this big bag. And so that allows me to put up to 5 lenses in a bag, or have a camera and like 4 lenses, so one on the body, making 5. And it's incredible. I did modify this bag. I put in the BYOB bag from Tenba inside. This is the 13 camera insert, it's called, BYOB. And then this bag itself is called the DNA 16 Pro Messenger. And I just love these bags. They're awesome. They did get rid of the D-ring, so this bag should last, hypothetically, a lot longer. But yeah, just an incredible bag. I always keep in this bag hand sanitizer. This is just kind of just straight alcohol, no gel. And then I keep a prism in here. I keep gum. Don't want to have bad breath at a wedding. And I keep a little copper ring in there for the ring of fire. And then obviously my cards are always in this bag. Even when I take them out to offload them, I'll put this back in because it's got extra cards, and I've never want to show up to a shoot without cards. So this just holds SDs. But it's been awesome. So use whatever works for you. And then I have it's called Tappy. There's like a bunch of different brands out there, but you can just tap someone's phone and it's a business card. I keep it in here. So if someone asks me, you have a business card, which is super rare, then I've got it. And then I always keep a timeline of the wedding in the bag. In both bags, I have 2 bags, and I keep one in my second shooter's bag. So that's bag number 1. This one just hangs off me all day long for the most part. And then bag number 2 is a new bag this year. That I got. It's the Cine bag, I think it's called. Nope, here we go. All right, Cine Lux Shoulder Bag 16 from Tenba as well. like I said, it works for me. I've tried a lot of bags out there. Backpacks, I have so many backpacks and so many bags. But these are what have been working for me. This bag allows you to put in like inserts and do whatever you want with it. And so inside this bag, I can put in 2 camera bodies and just let them sit there. It's great for traveling. It doesn't fall over. It's super solid. You can close it up, zip it up. When you pick it up and move it, it just goes like that. Like if it's raining, just zip it up. And then I keep tons of these like microfiber cloths everywhere, just for, you know, cleaning it, whatever, and protecting my lenses when I put them in the bag. But this bag's been incredible. I love it. It's got side pocket filled with batteries and other accessories that, you know, you never know what you're gonna need. But cool bag. Another bag that I thought I would love, I just used for my second shooter, but it was a really cool design. It's a low pro. Everyone puts them somewhere different. All right, Pro Tactic MG160 AW2. This bag has like wings, and I think Clever Supply Co did this too. Should try their bag, where it kind of hugs your body, which is awesome. I've wanted to design a bag for years, but I never will. But this is the closest to the bag that I would design that you could get. It has the wings. It's got a solid frame inside for the most part, so it's a little bit flexible. But if you ever try to get in your bag and fish out lenses, just such a cool design. So this is my second shooter one. The reason I don't use this bag is because it doesn't have the side pockets. That's it. If it had the side stretchy pockets, I would use this bag every day that I shoot. But yeah, so this is my second shooter's bag. I keep a camera strap in there for them, and he only needs 2 to 3 lenses. So hopefully he likes it. I should ask him someday what he thinks of it. Cool. So bags, camera stuff. Next up would be lighting. I generally, for all of my lighting, I will use these. I got one here. The ML60 Bi-Color. These have gone all over the place with me traveling. They pull apart pretty easy. They use Sony batteries. You can bring a cord and plug them in if you're going to do a long shoot. Any commercial stuff. You can get a little softbox. It's a proprietary mount, but this is the Godox AD-S60S. So you can just attach that there. For weddings, I'll put these up on a light stand. They're app driven, so I can control their bi-color, ML60 Bi. So you can go pretty far on the color temps. You can turn them on, take the app, set them to 0, put it up in the corner, and hours later come back and just crank them up when they start dancing. So first dance, toast, things like that, I'll use this. I've got 2 of them. I should have 3. And then dance floor, I'm just going to use this. There's different versions of this, Flashpoint or Godox, I think. This is the Flashpoint Zoom Lion, so maybe lithium ion, XR2. This thing, I could shoot like 5 weddings, maybe more. I shoot on the dance floor with these, that's about it. Or emergencies, I shoot at 1000 ISO, and then I just adjust my shutter, probably like 160 or less, down to 60. And then, yeah, aperture is usually 2.8 on that. So you can get a lot on the dance. You can get a lot of stuff with this. Like, you know, if you keep that ambient light in there, it doesn't look too bad. So more of a, like a pop fill. And then I use for my second shooter, TT350 C from Godox. And so just a little AA, good for travel. If you just wanted a travel flash that you knew was reliable. So yeah, that's what I use for lighting. Occasionally I'll take it's up here right now, it's lighting me, but it's called, what's this thing called? Godox SL100 Bi. It's a plug-in light. I've tried battery banks, but you need a pretty big battery bank because it's 100 watt. But I'll generally set that up like really far away if I need a light that's just going to throw. It's also app driven, and it's a Bowens mount, so I can put any kind of reflector I want on it. And so I'll use that as well for a third light if I really need it. Usually it's in the truck, and if I show up at a ceremony I've not been to or reception and I'm like, I need that, then I'll use it. So it's super rare that I'll use a light at a ceremony. I don't know why I said that. Probably, yeah, I haven't used one for years. With the high ISO capability of these things, yeah, I'll just use it for receptions. And again, they're bi-color, so I can match it, fill it. Doesn't look like it's, you know, a flash or any weird light source. Cool. All right, so that's all of the gear. I will bring this Instax wide to weddings if I have time. I'll print out a few Polaroids, you know, if I have time. You never know. Oh yeah, one more thing. Right here is I think this is Pixel. There's so many brands out there, Aperture, Amber, you know, whatever, that make these lights. I take 1 of the, or 3 of these with me. And if I really need, I'll keep one in my bag, like if I really need one in, like in a room or something, but I'll put these on RGB on the dance floor when there's no lighting or anything, and it just really livens up the party, livens up my photos. No one has ever complained, except for when I leave and I take them away. If a wedding goes late and I'm out, then I have to, sometimes I'll leave them. I'll just say I have the couple grab them, or the coordinators, and I'll pick them up the next day. But these are pretty reasonably cheap. You can find these for like down to like $60, maybe less. But yeah, again, I have Pixel, I think is who these are from, but like any brand's gonna work. I'm not really worried about color temperature or anything like that as far as like CRIs or color rendition index on these. Cool. And then when I get back to the studio, I'm using an M1 Max, the original version. I maxed it out in 2021. I wouldn't want to use probably much less with the GFX 100S files or 102. It's just, it's nice. I'm on the computer so much. It's worth it for me to just spend the money and, get the fastest thing I could get at the time. And so that's always helpful. And then another dealio that I got from OWC for free when I bought a card, I think it was, and it's got CF Express and SD, and I love this thing. It comes with a little dongle on it already, like the USB-C plug-in, and it just tucks away. It's just super slick. I love this thing. Good for travel. All right, aside from gear software, I've been using Develop from Impossible Things this year quite a bit for weddings, mainly when there's different light sources to edit, AI edit. It's a plugin. Go check it out. It's awesome. Narrative Select has just been huge this year. Just an amazing software. It's like free for like 6 weddings a month or something. I'll have to look it up, but you get like a pretty good free version. So go check that out. I'll put a link in the description. And then PicTime has been awesome. I've been able to make a lot of print sales through PicTime, as well as just deliver great galleries. So that's about it. I'm going to roll a slideshow. It's going to be long. Feel free to cut out whenever you want, but it's basically my portfolio from the last about 2.5 years using this gear, Canon and Fuji. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe so I can keep making these videos. It did take a lot to get all this together. Set up my studio. I went to shoot yesterday and my kid got sick, so here I am today. She's feeling better. But yeah, enjoy the slideshow and thanks for watching.